going, people? It is Liam Caddison here, and we're reacting to another episode for Buffy the Vampire Slayer with episode 5 of season 7. My headphones just dropped, so that's the day we're having today. Yeah, it was quite the bleak episode last time around with Cassie stating to the Scoobies that she was going to die. Of course, they did everything in their power to try to prevent that. And even if things looked a bit bleak at times, sadly, it was not something that they could help. She died based on her own medical history. And it was kind of sad, especially with the notion that not everything that happens in terms of victims and whatnot can be prevented from the help of the Slayer and her friends. So it was pretty rough, the last episode, because Cassie was a very delightful and wonderful character that I seriously did adore. And yeah, it was just sad that her heart gave out. And yeah, as I said, there was nothing that could have been done to prevent that from happening. So yeah, but it was a very great episode last time around, probably my favorite of season 7 so far for Buffy. And yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping into this episode. So with that said, let's get into episode number 5 of season 7 for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Let's go.
But that's not her anymore.
I hope you're right.
Well, she turned that worm guy back before any real damage happened, right? It'll just take some time. I really think she's coming around.
An eaten dog and a few destroyed pavements would say otherwise. Oh, Anya. Oh, Anne.
What have I done?
Whoa! Whoa! Did she just handle a bunny?
Olaf, wat is skattad? Du look tabu like musk.
That's the troll. That's the troll in season 5. There's that like kind of merchant spirit that's always been in Anya.
Tu varit paragrogen?
Uh-oh. Hey! I just hope you were painting with...
what I see anymore. Don't know how to explain it exactly.
Spike was that?
Like I've been seeing things.
I just hope that's paint there, and you had a painting class who are all asleep, Anya.
You see things, you know?
It's you, and it's me, and we'll get through this.
Never.
Is she really becoming that?
We'll get through this.
She's really... Oh, was that... Okay, was that all in his head? Okay, I was gonna say, she's really been this comforting to Spike, but...
And get out of this basement.
Is this another, like...
Don't have anywhere else to go.
Is this another of his,
And it's not like I've been gone
I guess
for that
apparitions
long,
of his
and I've already
mind
done all the
playing
reading
up?
that I missed. What do you mean? Spider. Where is it now?
Oh my god, it's big! Oh my god! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Big spiders! No thanks! No thanks! Well...
For God's sake, shut your whimpering mouth!
To them, but they don't talk to me. Except to say that your questions are irksome, and perhaps you should take your furs and your literal interpretations to the other side of the river.
Oh, that's really sad, though.
I get the sense that your
Anya,
talents are
or
not fully
art.
appreciated here on Yonka. We'd like you to join us,
Why do you keep calling me that? My name is Odd. Vengeance.
but only to those who deserve it.
They all deserve it.
That's where I was going with that, yeah.
And this is how it starts.
Great, Willow. Flayed anybody lately, have you? How quickly
Oh,
they forget.
come on!
I haven't forgotten 1 second of it.
Anya, you don't need to
What do you want?
go
I
there.
want to help you.
They got what they deserved.
No, they...
I am a vengeance demon. Do you understand that?
No. Moving up there.
Maybe we can smell lurid.
Xander!
Oh. Nice, nice.
Spider demon protection helmet. We come back and...
Well, that.
She didn't tell us because she knows what I have to do.
Oh.
I have to kill Anya.
I mean, what she did was not really great, but let's not, please, because I like Anya. Oh, jeez.
I'm in women who need my help.
You're talking about work.
I'm talking about life. Vengeance is what I do, Halfrek. I don't need anything else.
This is it. This has been her
Vengeance is what
goal.
I
I am vengeance.
She's not the Anya that you knew, Xander.
I see now how it's all very simple.
It is never simple.
No.
That's a really shitty mindset to go to be fair.
If there's a mass-murdering demon that you're, oh, say, boning, then it's all gray area.
Spike was harmless.
What? Come on!
Helping.
He had no choice.
And Anya did. She... Do you remember cheering me on? Both of you. Do you remember giving me Willow's message? Kick his ass? I never said
This
that.
is different.
It is always different. It's always complicated. And
This is
sometimes
it. He
someone
needs
has
to be
draw the line,
reminded
and
how
it's
he
always going to be me.
how he
You
was
get
so
down on me,
selfish.
but there's only me. I am the law.
Sometimes the only
Another way.
Then please find it.
sometimes the only choices are bad ones. But this isn't a comfortable decision for Buffy to digest, but
The flaying of Warren Mears, truly inspired. That was water cooler vengeance. Yes, Lloyd has a sketch
it's
of
what
it
I
on his
call
wall.
great.
It's not me anymore.
Is that right? So I didn't feel your presence earlier today? I didn't feel a bit of
He's
the old
disappointed.
We need to talk about Anya.
Hey, you guys are friends. How could you talk like this?
I have a job to do, and so does Buffy. Xander, you've always seen
But you
what
have a
wanted
choice
to,
as well to
But she knew sooner or later it would come to this.
be on the good side of history. Uh-oh.
Buffy, get out of here.
Get out of my way, Xander.
No.
Get out of her way, Xander.
Oh!
Don't you have a clever retort for me?
This is not an easy thing for Buff, though, and I don't want to see Anya die, but...
What fight are you watching? Or is this like one of your little pop culture references I don't get? Because I'm a vengeance.
Oh, no. Oh! Oh, Anya.
Are you still hungry? Because I'd be...
Is this setting during Once More with Feeling?
Mr. Xander Harris, that's what he is to the world outside.
Oh my
The
goodness!
name
We're doing
carries
Once More with
with
Feeling
pride.
1.5!
So maybe love is pretty smart, then so am I. I found my guy. And
Ah.
happy misses. And if we start, then here's my plan. I'll show
This
him
is so
what bliss
great.
is.
I love
Well,
this.
men with kisses, 'cause this is a missus who misses her man. He's my
Oh, she was so happy as well, though. This is the sad thing. Oh, my heart.
Anya.
Oh? Yeah, she was not gonna die if that was a near.
Stop trying to save me, Xander.
Oh! Whoa!
Oh, please, don't mind me. Continue with whatever it was you were doing.
I'm just here for the popcorn.
Anya.
Actually, funny historical sidebar. Her original name was... I'm I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, Anya.
The fates require a sacrifice. The life and soul of a vengeance demon.
No, 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 no.
Do it.
Wait!
Stay out of this, Xander.
Okay.
No,
right.
no, no,
That
no,
seems
stop.
smart.
Stop.
He just said you have to die. Perhaps there's some sort of alternate price.
Xander.
Huh?
Anya.
But now you, Anya, you're out. Congratulations. Your wish is granted.
You should have killed me.
Oh,
Let's
I wouldn't
wrestle
worry
with
about
this
that.
guilt, though. This isn't it, isn't it?
From beneath you, it devours. Be patient. All good things in time.
What if I'm really nobody?
Oh, no, 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 no. Don't say that.
Don't be a dope.
I'm a dope.
Sometimes.
That's a start.
Oh, Anya. Oh my goodness. I just love this character more and more, not gonna lie. Like, she has her flaws, and I can understand why, like, I was more, as much as it hurts me, I was, more so in agreement with, what Buffy had to say over Xander. I think Xander kind of crossed a few lines here, especially with the fact that, I mean, this is it though. Like, he has crossed some lines, and I do feel so bad for Anya. And yet, she did make her choice, but I could understand why, you know, Buffy resorted to killing her as an option. And there was a moment where my heart, like, was not going to accept the fact that, okay, this is going to be her end, like her being stabbed through the, yeah. And then when DeHoffrin called for her sacrifice, there was a true possibility, because I think this would be a very, very, I don't know, I couldn't see, like, Anya just, yeah. And then we had that song, and the deleted scene from Once More with Feeling. No, but we had that bit, and, oh, this episode was was a roller coaster. Yeah. Easily my favorite one of season 7 thus far, though. And plus, it was an Anya episode, and not just that, though, but Emma did a freaking fantastic job in an episode that explored so much about her and what she's been wrestling with for quite some time now, so in terms of the present day events. So, favourite episode of season 7 so far. It was just really incredible. Loved the focus on Anya. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that Anya has been a character that I have really, really adored so much in the Buffyverse. So the prospect of losing Anya was something that I could not accept. And yeah, the sudden shock as well with her being impaled and then it cutting to the song. I don't know, for some reason it kind of brings familiar vibes of when Buffy discovered Joyce's body on the sofa in episode 14 of season 5, I think it was. And then the first bit we get in the next episode is the dinner, and then it cuts to Joyce. It was ringing familiar vibes because you saw her getting stabbed. Then it cuts to the song, which was very, very much appreciated, because there was that nice... there was so many nice references to Once More with Feeling. There was even the mustard guy, which was really, really nice. But yeah, and then it cuts to Anya's body there. But thankfully she well, she lives to see another day twice because De Hoffren spared her with the fact that pain is a bit more of a gift, I guess, than just cutting things completely. So, and she would have to wrestle with the pain. And yeah, I really appreciated how this episode really gave a deeper dive into Anya's character before she became a Vengeance Demon, as well as the prospect that, okay, are we going to lose Anya because we had the discussion with the Scoobies? And can I just say, I'm a bit disappointed with how that came around, because there was a big thing that dropped from Becoming Part 2 when Xander said kick his ass. Encouraged by Willow seemingly, but Willow was like, wait, what? And there was no mention of that whatsoever. So, and this was a pretty big thing, because that was a really low point from Xander when he was, manipulating wording in order to see Angelus in this case, or Angel, just falter. Because Buffy was already struggling anyways, and there was that feeling of loneliness, and now you'd expect some kind of guilt to be summoned with the fact that Willow didn't even say that. So yeah, I'm kind of a bit disappointed that that wasn't touched upon further, because unless it will in the next episode, but like I'm kind of glad that it got brought up, and Willow is like, wait, I said what now? So, because that was pretty big. So, yeah, and this is it. Xander needs to face the consequences of him saying kick his ass, because Buffy was coming into that fight with no support whatsoever. You'd think kick his ass would be, but obviously it was more malicious than that. So, hence why Buffy was coming into this alone. And with the revelation, 5 years later, that Willow didn't even say that, it stings a bit deep, doesn't it? So yeah, but yeah, there was that discussion and just everything. Even Olaf made an appearance from season 5. We saw him and how him and Anya had a past, and we saw him in his human form before he got turned into the troll that he was. And yeah, it was just really good to just I guess break down Anya, as well as the fact that we had basically a crisis of identity with Anya, because whereas she was committed to her vengeancing, especially at the start, there was a break for her. She was her human side was coming into conflict when she was saying, what have I done? And even De Hoffren was saying, have you asked what she wants? And Anya just wanted all of this to be reversed. And she, because this is it though, with a vengeance side, and with that following Xander ditching her at the altar, Anya's had to regress, because there is this fear of no identity for Anya. She's at a crisis where she doesn't know where she goes from here, and it is pretty sad, because she feels like she will have no purpose, no identity. And we could look back to the song where she was so joyful about being Xander's wife, and with her regressing to her vengeance ways, because she felt all alone, it gave her that blanket, didn't it? So, and at the end of the day, there is that humanization. She just wants. I'm just thinking back to what she was saying as well with her social cues, which I will delve further onto that, because there is something I do want to kind of extrapolate on that little passage that she was mentioning to De Hoffren in the flashbacks. But yeah, she she mentioned about no one coming to her really, and this is it. She with Xander ditching her at the altar, there was kind of that loneliness for her. So regressing back into her old ways was really something that was like a blanket, really, if that makes sense. So yeah, and like I said, with De Hoffren, at the end of the day, they all just jumped the gun in terms of what is best for Anya, and yeah, so because this is it, it wasn't as simple as, oh, I want to be a vengeance demon again, woohoo! There was that conflict, and we saw that in the beginning of the episode. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, it was really, really great to go into flashbacks as well, like not just in 1880, yeah? No, not 1880, 880, yeah. We were close, though, to 1880 with the 1905 flashback, so yeah. But yeah, it was really good going into the flashbacks and seeing Anya progress and her becoming Anyanka. As the Hufford said, you're not... you're not odd, you're going to become Anyanka, which of course leads her to the path of becoming the Vengeance Demon. I did want to talk about the fact that she's made that reference about how she spoke to people and they don't talk to her, and how I wanted to extrapolate on that. And that's because I think it was in the Olaf episode that someone brought up a point about how they associated Anya to be on the autistic spectrum. And there have been points that I have brought up in previous Buffy thoughts that I can see how Anya is on the spectrum. And interestingly, we go into a bit further with that in terms of the earliest point in the timeline, I guess, in terms of us seeing Anya, unless there's a future episode that shows her pre-8080, but who knows. But there was something that did resonate to me about the fact that she said, I don't talk to people much, but, you know, I do talk to them, but they don't talk to me. And this is it, though, like, with some of the dialogue that was presented in that bit, it kind of hit a home spot in a sense. Like I've been in that position where I've wanted to talk to people, but people are like, no, and they've been kind of put off with my presence, that I'm an outcast, and there were similar elements painted in this episode with Anya and how she has been kind of you know, left aside and whatnot, and how people have not wanted to associate much to her. So, yeah, and like I say that because people have mentioned it before about the fact that Anya has been on, there's been traits that she's been on the spectrum, and whether she, you know, is or not in terms of people's opinions, that is always a subject that's open to debate. But as someone who's on the spectrum himself, it's always a very fascinating piece to analyze, like how Anya can be on the spectrum with this example or that example, because I always want to kind of associate myself to characters, and there's been traits where it feels like echoes of my life, like how she doesn't really talk to people much because people don't want to talk to her, and they just are like, no, go away. I've had that happen before. I've had that happen in college, and it's crushing, but it's always a kind of a crumb of comfort to share a piece of that with certain characters, because of the fact that there is that, like, I guess, blanket of security. I'll go back to that reference because of the fact that I like to associate myself to characters, and it's very poignant if they are on the spectrum, because it's a very, very complicated, and it can be a scary world for me because of the world that I'm surrounded by and how I see life in a completely different manner, and I will feel completely out the loop compared to a lot of people. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that because there are sides of the social skill struggles that Anya has referred to, and I can definitely attest to that, because sometimes social skills can really kick my rear, and it can always be a very, very distressing situation. So That's something that I did want to talk about significantly. But I also wanted to talk about the song as well, because I really that was a really, really nice surprise. I say a nice surprise because, I mean, we had Anya being stabbed. Like I said, it was bringing me back flashbacks to Joyce being found on the sofa, and but I really, really loved the song. It was really great, but it was also very heartbreaking as well, because you have Anya being so happy about the prospect of being married to Xander, and we obviously know how that turned out, so yeah. But I really loved the song so much. It was really brilliant, and I felt like there was some really, really nice symbolic messages, I guess, especially visually, because of the fact that we had Anya dancing around being so excited about the prospect of being married to Xander. And then you had Xander, who is lifeless. Not to say that he wasn't, eager to be married to Anya, but we know that Anya was so determined, and she was the most heartbroken about the prospect that the wedding didn't happen. And not just that though, but you could see the excitement is so palpable, and she was so happy. And looking at her then and looking at her now and the struggles, and like I said, her having to regress to her vengeance side as a blanket of security, it's just really, really interesting to see that. And I might be stretching here, but I feel like it's also a double meaning here as well, with the fact that Anya, in the past, she's happy about the prospect. Like this is her being so happy about her life with Xander, etc., and being his wife. And I feel like Xander's like sleepy body and lifelessness can be kind of a metaphor to Anya now, because she isn't happy. She was happy to accept the consequences of her actions. She was happy to sacrifice herself, and even De Hoffman made that mention about how pain is a bit more glorious than just, like he even said, never go for the kill when you could go for the pain. This is it. It's more painful living with this hurt, really, than just cutting it completely and sparing you from your misery. So I don't know if that's a bit of a stretch, but I do want to see that we have the two different parts of Anya. We have Anya, who was so happy like this point last season that she was getting married to Xander, and then we have Xander's body as a representation of Anya now, where there is not that drive, there is that that pain that she's wrestling with, especially with the fallout of the wedding that didn't happen. So yeah, I really liked some of the symbolisms that song carried out, as well as just how beautiful it was, but also crushing as well, as especially with the fact that what happened at the wedding. So yeah, and this is it though. She was so in love, and yeah. So this is it. And then you had that cut right to the end where she's just like, so yeah. So that wasn't really helping matters, was it? So, but I really thought that this was great in terms of Anya's characterization, especially with the fact that, as sad as this sounds, I feel like this is a very, very big moment, like with her having to wrestle with the pain, but not just that though, but the fact that ultimately Anya had to be left at the altar, because like I said, without Xander, without with that enthusiasm that died of being his wife, she regressed to a comfort of a security blanket, a room of comfort, which was her vengeance side. And now that's been stripped away from her. It's truly a case of where do we go from here? And I feel like this is going to be a really, really great journey in terms of Anya having to discover herself a bit further, because she's wrestled with being a vengeance demon for a lot of her life, and she had to regress to that when Xander ditched her. So who is she without her vengeance side is going to be a very, very interesting question. So yeah, exploring this identity with Anya is definitely going to be something that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing. So yeah, ultimately this was a really, really great side in terms of looking at Anya's character and that wrestling with her vengeance side, but also she's become more humane, especially as we've gotten to know her along the ride. So yeah. But yeah, it was really, really great looking at the other side of things. Like I said, the discussion was very, very heated. And I was more so leaning towards Buffy's side, of course. Like, sometimes the only decisions you have are bad ones. And Buffy accepting the fact that this was a very, very hard talk that she had to beget herself with, because of the fact that she didn't want to do this, but she knows what had to be done. Anya made her choice, and this wasn't like the whole Angel situation, because there wasn't really a choice at the end of the day, with the fact that Angel had to be killed, otherwise the world would, pretty much be dead. So but it's also a case of how much more would it take for Anya to kill to have killed, in terms of before this. Well, it already got out of hand, but you get the idea. Like, if there's no limit, if there's no if we don't stop her, how much worse is this going to get? So Buffy had to, and she was I feel like she was open to options, but she couldn't see any feasible way around this, and thankfully D'Hoffryn managed to take Halfrek's life. So yeah, but this is it. It's more so about pain than putting her out of her misery. So he sensed that Anya was in pain, and he decided, go for the pain. Better that way. So yeah. But yeah, it was a really, really tough talk, that discussion with the trio. Like, I can see why Xander was wanting to defend her. I mean, there's still a part of her that there's still a part of him that does love her and that, and there you can see why Buffy was warning him that your judgment might be a bit clouded with your feelings with Anya. And sometimes, like, Buffy knows that you've got to make the tough calls. And you even saw in the fight that, like, Anya even mentioned no funny quips that you got on offer. That's because this was a hard choice for her. She didn't, she had the serious, I mean, she's always going to take these fights as serious, but this is something that she was not taking any kind of joy out of. She knew what had to be done, but it wasn't an easy choice that she, had to accept. So yeah, but yeah, I'm still kind of mad about this about the fact that like nothing was pretty much extrapolated on the whole hey, remember when I said kick his ass, and Willow agreed? Wait, what? So yeah, but I really, really thought that this was great. We also saw seeds of the, I guess, Dark Willow emerge when she was helping that girl out, and there was that huge spider, which was like, ah. I don't think we've had a huge spider on the Buffyverse before. Not to my recollection. I mean, we've had multitudes of giant snake/penis monsters over the seasons, but I think this is a first, which is really, really bizarre, considering this is the final season of Buffy, and you'd think you'd capitalize on a giant spider, and I think this is the only time we've seen that happen. So we've had praying mantis, the ultimate baddie, so, which I'm still waiting to see if, like, that's it though, the shape-shifting entity that we saw in episode 1, that's the praying mantis's true form. So oh man, no, but in all seriousness, it was really interesting seeing seeds of the Dark Willow emerge, which obviously means that there's still a long journey for Willow to go through in order to recover, really. So I really, really liked that. But overall, I thought that this was a pretty great episode. And like I said, easily my favourite of Season 7 thus far. We're only 5 episodes in out of 22. But I really love the focus on Anya. I really love the fact that we had such a decisive episode in terms of Anya and where she goes from here, and the fact that this opens a new door for Anya to explore herself a bit further, because her blanket of security has been taken away from her with the fact that she was already struggling with Xander ditching her at the altar, but now De Hoffman's like, okay, bye. Yeah, I really thought that this was really interesting, and I'm excited to see where we go from here. So yeah, but awesome episode, awesome stuff, appreciate it so much. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. You can check my videos on the right if you want to check out more of my content. You can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodles!